The hidden billion-dollar water war beneath the Sahara Desert. Beneath the silence of the Sahara, something vast and invisible is moving. Not sand, but water. An ancient sea, buried for millennia, now fuels a billion-dollar struggle for survival and control. What if the world's next great war isn't for oil, but for water? Deep under the world's largest desert lies one of Earth's biggest hidden freshwater reserves, the Nubian Sandstone Aquifer System. It stretches beneath Egypt, Libya, Sudan, and Chad, a liquid treasure older than human civilization itself. As the planet heats up and rivers dry, this underground ocean has become the last frontier in the race for water. Governments, corporations, and farmers all want a piece of it. In the 1950s, scientists first discovered signs of this buried sea during oil exploration in Libya's desert. 3 decades later, Libya began one of the most ambitious engineering projects ever attempted, the Great Man-Made River. It aimed to pump ancient groundwater thousands of kilometers north to coastal cities and farmlands. For years, it was called the eighth wonder of the world. By the early 2000s, satellite data confirmed what scientists suspected. The aquifer was massive, holding trillions of gallons of fresh water. Then came 2011. Civil unrest broke out, and amid the chaos, control over these pipelines and wells quietly became a hidden factor in the conflict. Today, as droughts worsen across North Africa, quiet competition continues underground. Not through open war, but through drilling, secrecy, and political maneuvering. UNESCO calls the Nubian aquifer a non-renewable fossil water system. Once used, it's gone forever. NASA satellites have shown that North Africa's groundwater levels have been shrinking steadily for 2 decades. Libyan government documents once revealed billions spent expanding the Great Man-Made River, officially for food security, but also with plans to export water in the future. Egypt has since launched massive desert farms drawing from the same source. Though coordination among countries remains unclear, experts warn that no regional treaty controls how much each nation can extract. Without shared rules, invisible borders risk turning into invisible conflicts. Officials in Egypt and Libya deny any tension. They insist the water is used for peaceful development, feeding people, greening deserts, securing futures. But independent researchers point out that with no clear agreements, one nation's progress may quietly drain another's lifeline. Some even suspect private interests are quietly buying drilling rights through shell companies beyond public scrutiny. The truth is, no one knows exactly how much water remains beneath the sand. No one can measure it perfectly, and no one can say how long it will last. Across desert towns in southern Libya and northern Chad, water means survival itself. Wells that once ran deep now dry out months earlier than before. Farmers watch crops fail. In Egypt's New Valley, families draw their drinking water from boreholes that reach this ancient aquifer. They say it tastes clean and cool, like time itself, but every drop that comes up will never return. For many, this is not a war fought with weapons, but with wells. Each dry tap, each failed harvest is a silent casualty of the struggle beneath their feet. Experts call the Nubian aquifer a liquid time capsule. The water was rain that fell thousands of years ago, back when the Sahara was green. Once it's gone, it cannot be replaced. Not in our lifetime, not even in 1,000 years. Think of it like a savings account buried deep underground, but humanity keeps withdrawing without ever depositing back. Hydrogeologists warn that if extraction continues unchecked, the ground itself could begin to collapse, and salinity could poison farmlands. Water, once abundant, is becoming the new oil. But unlike oil, water sustains life. This desert story is a mirror of our world. From California's Central Valley to Saudi Arabia's deep wells, where ancient aquifers are being drained to feed cities and industries. So far, we know a hidden sea lies beneath the Sahara, shared by 4 nations, holding ancient water that cannot be renewed. What we don't know is how much remains or who is quietly taking more than their share. And as the desert grows drier, the question remains, can cooperation survive scarcity? In one future, these countries could come together under a shared data treaty, guided by the UN, managing extraction carefully and peacefully. In another, quiet competition could intensify, each drilling deeper, faster, to secure reserves before others do. There's even a darker path, though less likely, conflict or sabotage of vital pipelines if trust breaks down. The next decade will decide whether the Nubian aquifer becomes a symbol of unity or another fracture in an already fragile region. Beneath the golden silence of the Sahara, a billion-dollar struggle flows unseen, a reminder that even in the driest places, the real battles are often invisible. If you want to understand how ancient water could decide the future of nations, watch our next episode, The Disappearing Rivers of the Middle East. Where did the water go?